At 2:47 in the morning, 4 invisible aircraft slipped into one of the most heavily defended airspaces on Earth. No warning, no radio calls, no second chances. Their mission? Destroy missile bases buried deep inside mountains, before anyone even realized they were there. But within minutes, everything started to go wrong. Enemy fighters were already in the air. A surface-to-air system was locking on, and somewhere in the dark, allies were flying straight into their path, without even knowing it. For the next 20 minutes, this wouldn't be a strike mission. It would be a race against detection, collision, and death. At exactly 2:47 local time, 4 B-2 stealth bombers, call signs Pro 41 through 44, crossed into Iranian airspace from 3 separate directions. They didn't fly in formation. They didn't need to. Each one was its own mission. Their targets were unlike anything conventional airstrikes were designed for. Ballistic missile bases hidden inside mountains, protected by reinforced concrete, rock layers, and carefully engineered cave systems. Some had multiple entrances, others had vertical shafts, allowing missiles to launch directly upward from underground. These weren't targets you could just hit. They had to be calculated, precisely. Every bomb release depended on perfect alignment, speed, altitude, wind, timing, all converging into a single invisible point in space. Miss that point, and the mountain absorbs everything. But the crews weren't worried about the math. They were worried about being seen. And right then, something changed. A voice cut through the silence. 2 contacts, bearing 045, climbing fast, Iranian MiG-29s, scrambling from a nearby airbase, less than 15 miles from the target zone. Now here's the problem. A B-2 isn't built for a fight. It has no real defense, no agility, no escape. If a fighter gets close enough, it becomes a target. And these MiGs had something dangerous. Not radar, infrared tracking. They weren't looking for shapes. They were looking for heat. And 4 massive engines pushing a 150-ton aircraft through thin air are anything but invisible. If those MiGs got within range, the mission was over. But the bombers didn't come alone. 2 F-22 Raptors, call signs Viper 1 and Viper 2, turned toward the incoming threat, fast, silent, deadly. At 60 miles out, their radar locked onto both MiGs. The enemy pilots saw nothing, no warning, no signal, just empty sky. Then suddenly, their systems lit up. Someone was watching them. The MiGs reacted instantly, diving toward the mountains, disappearing into terrain where radar struggled to follow. And just like that, the fight turned into something far more dangerous. Not a dogfight, a game of hide and seek at Mach speed. Every few seconds, the MiGs would appear, then vanish again behind ridgelines. The Raptors had only moments to react, too short for a clean missile shot, too unpredictable for a guaranteed hit. One missile launched and slammed into a mountain. The MiGs weren't faster, they weren't stronger, but they knew the terrain, and they used it perfectly. Meanwhile, the clock kept ticking. 6 minutes to target, then 4, then 2, and the bombers had a problem. A serious one, to strike their targets. The B-2s had to do something they were never meant to do. Open their bomb bay doors. For 10 seconds, their stealth advantage would collapse. Their radar signature would explode, from nearly invisible to something any radar could see. 10 seconds, that's all it would take. If anyone was looking, if a MiG happened to rise above the mountains at the wrong moment, everything would be exposed. But the mission couldn't wait. The call was made. At 2:59, the bomb bay doors opened. Inside, precision-guided weapons locked onto their targets. Seconds later, they dropped, each bomb adjusting mid-air, correcting its path, steering directly into tunnel entrances carved into solid rock. Impact, one after another. Concrete shattered, Rock collapsed. Entire entrances sealed under tons of debris. Launch shafts designed to open upward, crushed inward, buried, silenced. Within seconds, the entire complex was gone, and the MiGs, still searching, still blind. But the mission wasn't over, not even close, miles away. Another bomber, Pro-42, was about to face something far worse, a radar system, hidden deep in the mountains, locked onto it. This wasn't guesswork. This was a direct track. A surface-to-air missile system, built after previous defenses were destroyed, had been waiting for this exact moment. And now, it was ready to fire. But the bomber wasn't alone. Electronic warfare aircraft immediately responded, flooding the radar with interference. At the same time, a stealth fighter, silently observing for over an hour, sent the exact coordinates, and within seconds, a missile was already on its way. Now it was a race, the enemy system trying to fire first, the incoming missile trying to destroy it before it could. But right then, something else went wrong. Two Allied stealth fighters suddenly entered the same airspace, unannounced, undetected, and completely invisible, even to friendly aircraft. 3 stealth jets, same sky, same altitude range, none of them able to see each other. It was chaos. And inside Pro-42, the mission commander had seconds to react. He made a decision. Shift the strike point, recalculate everything. 16 separate targets, all while closing in at high speed. No margin for error, no time to hesitate. The incoming missile struck first. The enemy radar system disappeared in a fireball. At the same time, Allied jets eliminated a convoy carrying ballistic missiles, and just seconds later, Pro-42 reached its release point. Bomb doors opened, payload dropped, targets destroyed. 3 separate crises, resolved within moments. But one final target remained, and this one was still firing. Pro-43 approached a different kind of threat, a missile base actively launching weapons into the sky. Every minute it stayed operational, more missiles were fired, more damage was done. This couldn't be a standard strike. So the crew did something unexpected. They waited, they watched, they studied the launch pattern, and then they timed the attack perfectly. Bombs hit the launch bays, seconds after missiles fired, when they were empty. Maximum damage, minimum resistance. Then the rest followed. Entrances collapsed, systems destroyed, and just like that, the launches stopped. Minutes later, silence. The bombers turned back, targets erased, threats neutralized. And the enemy, still searching for aircraft they never saw. Because in the end, this mission wasn't won by speed, or firepower, or even stealth. It was won by timing. Perfect, calculated timing.